Hey you guys, this is Evaluating Expressions. It's lesson 8-3. And one thing that I've been saying since the start of the year is that everything that we're going to be doing this year, regardless if it's in reading or if it's in math, every lesson that we do is going to be building on itself. And we're going to be using it with other lessons. And you have been seeing that, but now, today, you're really going to see that. Because everything that we've been doing over the course of this year, from adding and subtracting, multiplying, dividing, decimals of multiplying and dividing decimals, of single decimals, double decimals, and even everything we've been learning this week with algebra and the order of operations is all going to be combined today in this unit. So let's get started. Hey you guys, I thought before we dove into a problem we would start by doing a quick review of the order of operations. We all know that when we see the parentheses, we always work with what's inside the parentheses first. But if you see the brackets, these things here, that means you have to start with that part of the problem first. Remember that, because that's going to be really important today. When you see the brackets, you start working in that area first. Then you go on to step 2. Multiply and divide from left to right, and add and subtract from left to right. So let's get started with a problem. So let's start by evaluating our first expression. As you can see, I have my problem down here. I know my order of operations says that I have to start by evaluating inside the parentheses and the brackets. With that being said, I have a bracket here and I have a bracket here. Those brackets are telling me that I need to work in this part of the problem first. So I know that's the part of the problem I need to start working on, so I'm going to start there. I'm going to start with my parentheses because my order of operations says parentheses first. So I'm going to start by dividing 3 6/10 divided by 0 6/10. And that brings me down here. Sorry, I just moved my part of the problem. Brings me down here. My answer to 3 6/10 divided by 0 6/10 is 6. So what did I do is I was able to eliminate my parentheses because I solved what was here. That's my 6. And then I brought down the rest of my problem. 2 plus my answer to here, 2 plus 6. I kept it inside of the brackets because I'm still working in that part of the problem. So I just brought down that information. You can see I just brought it down. I'm highlighting in red the next step I'm doing so you can see the step. So you can see here I have 3 2/10 times 12 minus 2 plus 6. But that 2 plus 6 is in brackets. What does that tell you? It means I have to work inside of those brackets still. Remember, when you see brackets, you have to fully finish that part of the problem. So I'm going to do my last step of the order of operations with inside of those brackets. I am now going to add 2 plus 6. As you can see here, I've now solved that part of my problem. 2 plus 6 is 8, and I brought that straight down. And then I brought down the rest of my problem. 3 2/10 times 12 minus, and now my answer that was within inside the brackets. I was able to remove my brackets now because I have finished solving everything that was inside of those brackets. So now I can continue forward. So now that brings me to step 2, when I now multiply. What am I going to multiply? Well, I'm going to multiply my 3 2/10 times 12. That's the only part that I'm multiplying. When I go ahead and I multiply 3 2/10 by 12, I get 38 4/10. What do I do then? Then I just bring down the rest of my problem. You can see I brought down my subtraction sign and I brought down the 8. What do you think step 3 is going to be? And then for my last and final step, I'm going to subtract. I'm subtracting 38 4/10 minus 8, and when I do that, it gives me 30 4/10. You guys, bottom line is this. When you follow the order of operations, you can't go wrong. Always work in your parentheses first. But when you see the brackets, you know that you have to work in that part first and complete that part of the problem first. Then you can move on to the rest of the problem. The next thing is, if you forgot how to do any of the things that I've gone over in the last several weeks, Mrs. Lukasiewicz and I, if it's either adding or subtracting decimals, multiplying or dividing decimals, go back to the videos that we have posted in the past. That's why they're there, to give you a refresher. Watch them and then just follow the order of operations, and I will guarantee you, you won't go wrong. Good luck, and I look forward to seeing your work as always.